Okay, hi everybody. I just downloaded this new software and I thought I'd give it a whirl. Okay, today's assignment is a two-part assignment. The first part is dealing with teacher interviews, so I'll just dive right in it. So I'm living in Taiwan, so the massive drive toward more technology in the classroom has not been as intense here. Taiwan handled the coronavirus well. The country has only had minor indirect consequences of the lockdown. Overall, the education system has not changed nearly as radically. But the country is moving toward the rest of the world, but not as quickly. Many teachers here may not even use technology. Often Taiwanese schools still just photocopy a lot of worksheets and give students many textbooks. Students here have lots of textbooks. Anyway, I'll introduce the teachers I interviewed. Teacher David is a young teacher who teaches ESL in the junior high, and he uses a computer lab. And for all of his classes are on have access to technology. Teacher Wendy teaches English in high school, and sometimes in her class she takes the students to the computer lab. And then I also interviewed teacher Anne, who teaches at a kindergarten in the morning, but she runs her own individual school, which tutors children who attend a very rigorous elementary school. So I'll just go over this quickly and catch some of the main points. So, how much do you use technology in your lesson plan? So, David and Wendy, every class pretty much. And Anne usually has a laptop or cell phone, and so it's just there if she needs it. Okay, so what type of IT programs do you use in helping students achieve their learning objectives? So the school runs a Scholastic and Reader's Digest English program and YouTube and some other reading videos. And teacher Wendy also gets the students to do My ET English Tutor as well. In her class, students have to write their own PowerPoint, and she uses Google Classroom. And the news websites. Teacher Wendy often runs current events, and so students are often encouraged to discuss the news. And then teacher Anne is younger children, and she uses it just for like videos, songs, um, and also downloads for like downloading worksheets and stuff, or finding science experiments for kids and letting the students copy. So for difficulties, basically David and Wendy said the kids really enjoy technology, but sometimes it's often hard to see if they're actually working hard. Maybe they have an extra window hidden somewhere and they quickly shut it away. So when you're watching kids interacting with technology, sometimes it's hard to determine whether they're actually doing work. And teacher Ann said sometimes too, when you put on a video or get students to comment and interact with technology, they're not interested. Like young students who've already been in school all day, they don't really. Sometimes they're not interested. So, what do students like about technology? So usually they love it. Students like using it to learn. Wendy also says they like to use it for current events to really see what's going on in the world, because we're like in Taiwan, and it's kind of like a world unto itself. In many ways, it's very isolated. So they like to see what's going on in other parts of the world. And Anne said, students like watching videos, and they usually like sometimes playing games. I'm sure that's all teenagers and kids like to play video games. Anyway, I notice I've already gone 4 minutes, so let me just try to touch on some of the main points. Okay, so students like to interact with technology. They like to problem solve with technology. It can inspire kids to practice language, because sometimes in the classroom maybe they'll just sit there like, duh, but if they see something cool, they might want to talk about it. Teacher Ann likes technology because it helps her contact with the parents, sometimes right away, because then you can deal with some problems with children. It's good for assigning extra simple tasks for students that might be ahead. So I asked them if they ever used digital classroom. Now, most people in Taiwan, most teachers don't even use it. Teacher David's only used it once. Teacher Ann just used it to talk with her boyfriend. And Wendy sometimes rarely uses Meet for students that have missed a class, but um, not so often. So what do they think about technology in the future? They said it's probably going to be used more and more, maybe for sick students and such. And I asked them what are their general thoughts about technology and the coronavirus, and they said they aren't sure. They can't really control what's going on. Teacher Wendy doesn't really like I think most teachers don't really like kids being isolated and wearing a mask too much. It's harmful for their development. And Teacher Ann kind of summed things up when she said, "Luckily, we live in Taiwan where things are not so bad. The world needs to be more careful about China, like we Taiwanese. I hope this country can stay safe." Oh, right, now, 6 minutes, only 1 minute, oh no! So here's my student survey. I can go over this pretty quickly. I gave it to 9 students. How many extra hours do you read? What's your favorite hobby? Most of them said baseball or novels. So, I think the main purpose of this is you document. You always document. So if you see a student misbehaving or acting up, or you want to pay more attention, you have it on record. Then you can go and check out a lot of information. Because that's one of the real big lessons I'm getting out of Teacher Stacy from special needs and this class is you just have it so you document in case you need it. Document everything down. Like here, what's your biggest challenge? They all said math and tests. And gives you a general perspective as a teacher. Like health problems, no, none of them really do. Their parents are all decent, middle class, pretty good family. Most of them are they good at using a media literate, I guess, online literacy. How often do you use a school for work? So generally speaking, do you have any responsibilities? Most of them, no. They say they take care of them sisters, but that's just a little thing. Anyway, I'm running out of time. I hope I didn't go too long. Basically, you can get a general overview of what your class is like, and if you need to check the students in more detail, make sure everything's documented down. Thank you. I hope this is okay. If you need me to redo it, drop me a line.